marketing, entrepreneurship, and all things small business. You're listening to the Jurassic Marketing's Triceratops. Now, here's your host, Justin Miller.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This week, I got another clip for you out of our workshop. Hopefully you heard last week's podcast where I shared a little bit of what's going on in direct mail right now and why it's still relevant. This week, I have a little different take for you. I'm going to share some of my closing statements from that workshop. And it really talks into what I see is going to change in the future when it comes to marketing and direct mail in particular. You know, a little bit of what's going on with the post office right now. So if you're mailing already, you definitely want to listen. And some of my predictions, you know, how AI in particular and some other things are going to infect it. So, infect it? No, that's not what I want. Affect it. So take a listen. Hopefully you enjoy. And we'll be back next week with our regular podcast format. We have some great guests lined up the next month. Really excited about it. So first, I want to establish where we are at this point, because as long as you were playing along, which we checked ferociously throughout the day to make sure you were, you've done more today than most people ever actually implement. So if you get it out the door and in people's hands, like as far as direct mail goes, you just beat like 99% of the population, de facto. But it does have to go out the door. It doesn't do a whole lot of good just sitting around on your desktop. All right, so what do we have? We have newsletters to build trust, keep you top of mind, strengthen relationships. We have referral letters, create the new relationships, expand networks, generate opportunities. The two of them together are no longer random acts of marketing. You have the beginning of a system. And in my world, we call it the Jurassic Mail Trifecta. Yes, 3. We talked about 2. Was not intentionally leaving anything out. We'll talk about it in a second. And no, I don't have anything to sell at the end of our session together either. That's not the purpose here. So number 1 is the newsletters. Number 2 is referral letters. As I said, most people don't have both of those, and their marketing feels inconsistent to the recipient or to the current customer. And most people ignore the current customer when it comes to marketing. What we did not cover, let me get it, is outside of the room here. Dun-dun-dun. Kevin, this is where we would play background music if we had it. Instead, we're just going to see if my wireless microphone works all the way across the office, which it should. And this is somewhat to entertain myself, guys, but we did not cover these guys. So this is our Raptor, and if you see us at trade shows, you can see the Raptor. But Raptors in direct mail world are sales letters. Now, Lance got into Raptors a little bit, and I got to get this guy off here. He's gonna go crazy. Sometimes he roars. We don't have him roaring today. Raptors are sales letters. They're pieces that chase in customers for you. Why didn't I talk about them? Why didn't I talk about postcards? Why didn't I talk about long-form direct mail sales letters? Because those campaigns, they're fast, they're aggressive, they're closer to the cash, but they're the hardest to make work mathematically. And until your foundational marketing is in play, they don't matter. Everyone comes to us wanting Raptors. Raptors do not make good pets. Will we mail them for you? Will we help create them? Absolutely. Would I suggest doing it before you do these other 2 systematically and consistently? Absolutely not. Okay? This is where my caring about your business is detrimental to my own providing of a service as a direct mail marketing agency. Because obviously I make a bunch of money mailing Raptors for you and getting tiny responses, or failing and doing another experiment, failing, doing another experiment. Now, when you get a Raptor that works, it's wonderful. You know, it's the home run, it's the grand slam, it's what everyone wants to talk about. It's the piece we put in the mail and 36 leads roll in within a month. Do we have them? Yep, we do. Want to talk about them? We will. We can do some in Q&A. Lance actually dug in pretty close on these. So a lot of what you were discussing there was what I would deem Raptors. So they have their place in marketing, for sure. And you just need to make sure you understand where they're at, how hard they are to make work, and what the purpose of each piece is. So that is our trifecta when you have all three going, but it is in order for us of what you should do. All right, where this is all going. So we got very tactical earlier. We got all the way down to getting pieces made for you. Yes, I owe you still a newsletter template where you can copy and paste those 2 articles into. You will have that tomorrow and you'll be good to go on that. But I want to zoom out to the direct mail as a media as a whole. Number one, I mentioned it earlier today when I was talking about us shutting down our no hassle newsletters division. Content is getting easier and cheaper and better, smarter by the month. So AI, tools, automation, automatic this, automatic that. Everyone can create content now. And if you give the AI good prompts and good information, you'll get good out. You give it garbage, you're going to get garbage. And obviously it makes shit up and like it will tell you you're smarter than you are. But it's an amazing tool and it's only going to get better. So content itself becomes less valuable. So this is why we did not focus like an hour and a half on writing content educational articles for your newsletter. Because even the topics you picked, top 5 reasons this, top 5 that, guess what? You can probably feed that into ChatGPT and I bet it's 90% the same as what you were going to say. So content is great that it's getting cheaper and easier, but it's changing the game too. Digital content, even easier, by the way. Number 2, what this causes is relationships to become more valuable. Okay? There's a reason this is not like a recorded webinar I'm giving you. You don't need more content. There's nothing I said today you can't find on YouTube. But having it in an interactive manner in a real room with real people is valuable. Okay? And yes, I get it's virtual. But we got as close as we could to being in the room together today. And I'll actually remember you because we had you on camera enough. You know, you don't get that watching a YouTube video. So everyone can create content. Who do we trust anymore? It's easy to be a fraud, right? So the advantage and the currency becomes trust. You know, in marketing, we've always said the currency is attention. And it is. But who can we trust is what's important to this. And that's what we built today is a trust system with 2 components that open the door to the trust and then give you a steady component for building that trust month over month. And that's that personal interest stuff. It's being a human being. It's what every business owner isn't necessarily comfortable putting out there. It doesn't want to put out there unless they want to be in the spotlight. You know, I don't like the spotlight per se. Even though I was a stage hypnotist, I was more curious behind the scenes. How does this whole thing work? And frankly, I'll tell you, one of the reasons I did it, other than my curiosity, was I was providing sound for events that had hypnotists at it. And I saw the ones check once, and I'm like, so I did all the work schlepping all the gear in here, and this guy came and talked for an hour and made 25 times what I made. So it's who you trust. Direct mail helps build the relationship and the trust. Again, it's something you can hold. It's not another email. Is it all going to get read? No. You have to be okay with most of it getting thrown in the garbage. It's no different than the email getting deleted based on the subject line. It's not another post online. It's something that physically sits around, sits on the desk, sits in their home. And as long as we built value first, when the timing is right, we got every chance of being the first and probably the only person they reach out to. So this media is the only one that the relationship is in their hands. Number 3, here's your bad news. Cost will go up, and I'll spin this into being a good thing for you. So in direct mail world, we have had, if you look at postage alone, we've had 5 increases in 3 years. Actually, just it was either this morning or yesterday, I read that USPS has an emergency approval to increase pricing for its parcels in this case and priority for fuel surcharge, okay? But barring that, postage is going up again. In June or July, we have another increase coming. Print costs continue to go up. Like, we all lived through COVID. Like, this particular industry was no different than any others. Everything just keeps going up, up, up. Okay? Digital cost for media that's performing goes up as well. You just don't necessarily see it right away. But here's the flip side. If you're sticking to relational marketing, you're sticking to long-term ROI, and you have a high-value product or service, every time postage goes up, people drop out. You probably don't have any you're going to be competing against anyway in the same inbox, but if you are in a competitive field and the math works out, every time it goes up, other people drop it. And this should be your benefit of being more alone. It should be a stable piece of marketing compared to other media and teamed with other media. So what are a lot of people going to do when they get your letter? They're going to Google you. You know, you're going to get attribution problems just like you do with every other media. But it's an opportunity as others drop out, you stand out more. Again, it's going to go up in price. I don't remember what the postage increase they're trying to get approved is. I think it's another 5% in the middle of the year. And as a service provider, the print prices continue to increase as well. Cat's out of the bag. It's not going back down again. Use it to your benefit, but make sure that you're focusing on the types that are going to give you the best ROI. Number 4, early advantage. I truly believe that this media from a small business perspective is making a comeback. Now, I'm not saying that just because I preach this. I'm not saying it for my own benefit because I don't care if you mail through us or not. I'd love it, obviously, if you do. But I think it's going to work better and better as it's harder to tell reality from AI online. So AI is going to get better and better. Right now, our BS meter is really good. You know, we can tell what's AI. My kids yell at commercials on the TV all the time. They're not marketers. They don't care what I talk about. But they spot it and they hate it. And I think that the AI will get better and it will get past a lot of people's trust hurdle. And at the point we start questioning reality from AI, we're in trouble. So, as marketers. So, the offline has that trust factor, and I think it's gonna separate itself exponentially higher. So, I think this becomes obvious again over time. I think figuring out the math and figuring out what works while it's as cheap as it's going to be is important. It feels old, yes. You know, I like digital. I came from digital. Direct mail feels old. It's also what I love about it is they can't change the rules. Now, the rules are super complex, like behind the scenes for mail, but they can't change them very easily. So it's great. You know the rules of engagement in the game. In theory, you are in control. We talked about 3 pieces of control earlier. So I think it's becoming more valuable, not less. And I think that's an advantage to you.
Thanks for listening to the Triceratops podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. For more information on how Jurassic Marketing Direct Mail can help grow your business, visit JurassicMarketing.com.